Hey, hey, hey. So I'm sitting here thinking of the next step for me to take. I don't know. I know, but I don't know. I have a vision of where I want to go. However, I don't know as far as exactly what that next step is. And I believe it was Martin Luther King that said, faith is taking the next step even when you don't see the next, even if you don't see the staircase, something like that. I know I butchered that quote all the way up. I know I did. But essentially, what he was saying was that we have to have faith, take the next step, and know that everything is going to work out, right? So I I did that 3.5 years ago. I left a job that I was with for over 21 years. I left a relationship that I was in for over 8 years, and I left my hometown. Like I completely left everything behind, packed up my car, did a whole Tina Turner, and drove um, halfway across the country. It took me 3 days. I took my time. I cried. I did a lot of crying. I did a lot of soul searching. But I knew without a shadow of a doubt that it was time for me to go. And I wasn't fearful of any of it. I didn't know anyone in Charlotte except for one person. I've been there a couple of times, but not enough to where, I was familiar with it, not familiar with it of the city at all. I stepped out on faith. And things did not go as planned. Let me tell you, I had a job waiting for me. They rescinded the offer when I refused to give them my vaccination status. So I was like, well, that's not the company for me. So, and I still said, I'm moving forward. And I even recall my girlfriend saying something about, what if you're not able to find a job because XYZ? And I was like, nope, that is not my reality, right? Nope, I am not owning that. And I did not own that, right? So, and it's kind of interesting because a recruiter had actually reached out to me for the job that I have now. And it was not a third party recruiter, it was a recruiter within the company. So that goes to show when you move out on faith, because I was saying, I'm still coming. I'm still moving there. I'll find something else. And lo and behold, I did. However, when I got here, it did not go the way I wanted it to go. I had an apartment waiting for me, and the apartment place catfished me because they had old photos online. And when I saw that place in person, I was like, that is not what it looked like online. Like, I'm looking at the photos online and I'm looking around me like these are old photos. So I did not take that apartment. Even when I went to go view the inside of the apartment, it wasn't it. I wasn't feeling it. I was not going to just settle for that, right? I've been settling my whole entire life. I've always wanted to move out of Omaha. Always. Like that was always a dream of mine. And I ended up getting pregnant. I was probably about 20 years old when I got pregnant. And then 2.5 years later, I had my second child. So I kind of felt like I was stuck in a sense. And I wanted my kids to be around their family, and I had support. So I didn't leave. So everything lined up for me perfectly. Let me just tell you that. Let me rewind and say that. There were so many things that had happened in my life that had made this move so possible. None of my kids were living in the house. They had all, well, I didn't have that many kids, but both of my kids had moved out the house. So it wasn't like I was leaving them behind, for one. For two, they were young adults. They were or are still in that stage of really finding their groove as an adult, right? So it was just a time for me. And I've never really done anything for me. I've always done things for my family, for my kids, for other people. And I had to sit in that and really be like, I turned down a couple of jobs in Omaha because I just was like, I can't accept this job because I don't want to stay here in Omaha. My heart was to leave. So, anyways, things didn't work out the way that I had originally planned because I thought I was going to pull up into my apartment and just move straight on in. Nope, it didn't work out that way. So I ended up staying at an extended stay for 30 days. And that experience was very humbling, right? Very humbling because let me just tell you, I kind of forgot that people live there like all the time, not because they're moving or, they need a place to stay in between other places. I mean, I kind of forgot that aspect. I don't know how I forgot it because as a child, I stayed in extended stays several times. That's where we lived growing up a couple of times. So anyways, I just kind of forgot the whole dynamic of the extended stay atmosphere. So that was interesting, very humbling, right? Very humbling. But I believe I needed that, right? So I ended up getting a place and I was debating if I should get a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom. These were all the things that were like going through my mind. So that whole experience, even though it didn't happen the way that I thought it was going to happen or the way that I planned, it happened exactly the way that it needed to happen. And I learned some lessons along the way. So now my next step, I don't know. And I have been wanting it to be very clear and direct. I've been asking, I've been listening, I've been doing the work, and I'm not getting that definite, this is what you should do, right? So I'm like, well, what do you want to do? Okay, I want to do this. Okay, so what do you need to do in order to do that? Well, I have been guided a long time ago to do videos on social media. Didn't listen. I know, I'm hard-headed. Didn't listen. So now I'm like, okay, so was this why I didn't get the next step? Because I didn't follow through on that on the next step. I can't skip steps. Like, we can't skip steps. We have to follow directions. If Spirit gives you something to do, hey, you can choose to do it or you can choose not to do it, right? It would be in your best interest because Spirit always has your highest good in mind for you, is to do it, to follow it, no matter how scary it seems, no matter how crazy it seems, because that's another thing. The crazier it is, the more it's in alignment. the crazier it is, the more it's in alignment. And I'm not talking about crazy like offing somebody. That's not what I'm talking about. It has to be within integrity, right? Things that feel good. It doesn't feel good to go off somebody. I don't care what somebody says. That I'm sorry, that doesn't feel good. Why? Why? Anyways, that's a whole nother subject. So I was just sitting here and I'm like, that's why I have not been able to hear my next step clearly, because I didn't follow directions. I didn't follow. Yes, okay, I had the directions to leave. I followed that. I had the directions to study. I followed that. I had the directions to do videos online. Didn't follow. Didn't follow at all. And I was wondering, like, how come I can't hear? How come I'm not getting that connection like I used to get? So like at the beginning stages of my spiritual awakening, it was very clear. I would meditate, I would pray, I would be with myself, and I would get these messages through journaling, through whatever. And it would be so clear to me, so clear. And recently, for the past year, I would say, I have been asking for guidance and direction and wondering why the messages aren't clear. Wondering why I'm not being guided on my next steps. Well, just like a parent, right? Okay, you don't listen to your parents. They're not going to keep telling you over and over and over again. They're just going to wait until you bump your head, until you F something up, until you come crawling back saying, okay, I learned my lesson, da 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 da. You know, it's just like a parent. So I'm following directions now. I understand. I get it now. That is the next step. And I know, without a shadow of a doubt, I know that the next step will be revealed to me. As long as I keep doing what I'm supposed to do. And I say what I am supposed to do because I am being guided by my higher self. I am being guided. So I just have to listen. I choose to listen. That's a choice that I'm making. And it's a little scary. And I say it's a little scary because it's the unknown. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, real talk, I don't know what I'm doing with these videos. Like, I knew before I hit record that I was going to talk about the next step, but I didn't have notes prepared or any of that. This is just straight off the dome. Whatever spirit has me to say was what I'm following, and that's what I'm doing. And in that, I am stepping into faith. And I know that because I am following, that the next step would be revealed to me, and I would see and I will understand why I was told to do this now. So, for anyone out there that is, feeling like they're stuck, I invite you to go back and check in with yourself and ask your higher self, like, have I been following directions? Have I done the things that I was guided to do? Because for me, when I looked at that piece, I was like, oh, duh. We can't skip steps. We can't. This journey we call life, it may look like some people are taking leaps beyond leaps, but that's just a perception that we have. And I guarantee it, if you ask them, that would not be the truth and what actually transpired, because things take time. There has to be momentum build up. There has to be a foundation laid. And granted, yeah, there might be some people that may have said that, it did happen overnight. That's not normal. You have to put the effort into it. You have to do the work. You have to show the universe that you are ready. And you have to be integrity with your own word, keeping your word to yourself, doing what you told yourself that you are going to do. That's what I'm doing. And there's a little fear in there, like I said, and that's okay, because I'm going to do it scared. I'm going to do it scared, and I'm going to look back at it later and be like, see, that's why Spirit told me to do it like this, because, mark my word, it happens every single time. So you don't have to see the whole staircase to take the next step. Have faith, believe that you can do it, and just do it, one little step. Until next time.